Hey guys, it's Krystal Lee Moore Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor. Krystal Lee Moore, this is Realtor Life, and I'm so excited that you're here. Today we're talking about a much needed topic, and that is generally mental health, but also just beating the blues. And this is the time of year. Spring is like inching its way forward into I guess I'd say the world, but probably Canada. It is inching its way. Like, have you ever seen one of those army people, like just like crawling their way under those wires? That's how I feel spring is trying to get to us. And it's a rough go. And there's a few things I wanted to point out for realtors, for entrepreneurs, and learn from my lessons. It's important. Um, so today we're going to be talking about beating the winter blues, which we're not going to be like fake about it. It's actually beating the winter blues, unloading your schedule. So getting some stuff, some big rocks out of the schedule. And the book 10X is easier than 2X. Okay, so let's launch right in. Okay, so anyone in the world right now, we're April 2025. It's kind of heavy out there. And I think I've mentioned this a few times, but I'm very aware of how it's affecting me. I'm also aware of how it's affecting people around me, from like my family, my friends, clients, colleagues. Everyone is just very, ugh, like it's not a good vibe. And the thing is, it's okay. You can have bad days. What happens with entrepreneurs though, like we're always kind of like absorbing things around us. So we have a bunch of people behind us and doing all these things, and we're trying to like, kind of lift everyone up. But if we're struggling, it's really hard, really hard. um, I'm a positive person, and I find like I get dragged down too. So here's some fun tips. So I'm really excited. I actually submitted an article to Real Estate Now. So I'm actually the monthly article contributor for Real Estate Now in London, and I love it. I've been doing it, I think, for I'm going to say almost a year now. Um, and so I kind of get to choose. It's really exciting. I get to choose something that I think will be relevant for the people that are reading the magazine. So last month, we did waking up your garden and your lawn. I think I called it Wake Up Sleepy Lawn. Um, and then we've done some on like Christmas decorating or holiday decorating, you name it. So this month was really just kind of beating the winter blues. Now, I said it in the article, I'll say it here as a disclaimer. I'm going to give some suggestions. Um, if you are just sad and it's going on for quite a long time and you don't think you can just like kick it with a few tips, I would say definitely reach out to a health professional. There are counselors. There is a mental health crisis line. I believe it's 988. I should probably fact check that, but it is, you can call 911. There are so many different places you can go. We're very lucky in this country, but I'm talking about you're having a bad day. Here's some suggestions. It is not a replacement for medical advice. I just want to make sure that that's clear. Okay, so number one, so let the sunshine in. So how can we do that if it's disgusting outside? I have tips, of course. So the sunshine part is you can definitely get outside, get some vitamin D, and the other stuff. You can eat foods that are rich in vitamin D. They've recommended like salmon, eggs, anything where you're getting kind of those, those supplements like the omega 369. Um, Usually, like you want kind of that kind of vibe. If you can get it from real food, even better. Um, Really, if you can get any vitamins from real food, is probably better for you, but those are really good. I also think it's important. So supplements are an interesting topic for me. So I was actually like overdoing it on supplements, and I like to think of myself as very healthy. And I think took for granted that if it's for sale on Amazon or for sale on Shoppers Drug Mart's shelves, that it must be healthy, because how could Health Canada let anything under the door? Um, and it probably all is healthy by itself. But I was like doing some weird combinations, and I ended up I got a something called a hyphema in my eye. So hyphema is as scary as it sounds. There was like one of my blood vessels kind of just like let go in my the color of my eye. Um, and I went to the emergency eye clinic. Like it was kind of a big deal, and then it was fine. So we kind of, when we say we, I kind of figure it's from the supplements. They do not disagree. So I kind of cut all the supplements out. But because I cut all the supplements out, I was also taking some really good stuff like vitamin D and multivitamins. In a fun perimenopause age. Sorry, everyone. I'm 44. And so I was taking a really good supplement from Shoppers Drug Mart as well. And I just stopped it all. So for me, that was really like, it did not help the fact that it was kind of gross outside. I was overwhelmed, all the things I'm about to tell you. But also, I kind of just like quit cold turkey all of these supplements, some of which were helping me. So in the last few days, I've actually put them back in and I'm feeling better. But getting that sun. So I know the wind sucks. It is so cold. But if you go outside on a sunny day, there's always like a pocket, right? Like I used to have this really great pocket near the Good Life at Saint Laurent Shopping Center in Ottawa. So I'd go visit my mom. There was this little pocket of like no wind would get there, but there was like a sun trap. So it was just so nice. No matter what, it would be so great. So find a spot like that, even if it's inside. Like I mean, one thing they say is like clean your windows. And I'm not judging and not shaming. Like it's been disgusting outside. Who's outside cleaning their windows? But dirt can take like 30% of your sunlight away from your house. And that's not good. So clean your windows. But yeah, you could like lie down in the sun in your house, right? So like sometimes we'll have a great sunny morning and sun will come into our bedroom and I love it. So that's the vitamin D. The other thing is get moving. So sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't want to move. I don't want to work out, blah, blah, blah. You'll either find a way or an excuse. But sometimes you're just like, I'm just over it. So if you were to go and like put on really great music for 5 minutes, let's say you're going to dance for 5 minutes. Um, it totally works. So you're going to do it for more than 5 minutes because it's so much fun and it's great workout. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be like slugging it out at the gym. And if you're a woman over 40, you shouldn't really be like hardcore gymming without some fun. The fun, like you want that cortisol down, get it down. So the other thing you can do, you can sing. You can sing, you can, I like playing guitar. You can garden. So again, it needs to be like slightly less disgusting outside, but you can garden. So it's like anything where you're going to do a puzzle, like whatever. You just want to get out of your head and just move your body, however that looks. So maybe you're moving. Tony Robbins says that motion creates emotion. So, yeah, I like that one. So then the five senses. So as we're going through, sometimes it's nice just to smell something good. Like I bought some new hand soap for our bathroom and it smells like beautiful flowers. It's really nice. Or you can just like rearrange things. So I rearranged, I don't know if you guys can tell behind me. I rearranged my basement area. So I spent time, I had some time to myself on the weekend and I spent like 6 hours redoing my space. And I did it mostly because like it had to be done, but also it feels good when something is renewed, right? So it works better now. It's more functional. Um, and then the other thing, sounds, right? So like whether it's birds, whether it's music, whether you learn a new song, it's always nice to just keep it going, which brings the last one, sleep. Okay. So it's very tempting to sleep in, but our bodies like habitual patterns. So having a bedtime, having a wake up time, um, as an entrepreneur, as a realtor, and especially like if you have other stuff going on too, like you're a friend, you're a daughter, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a husband, whatever you are, it's like never ending. So if you find, and I'm very guilty of this. So I don't know if you guys are too, but I will often rob my sleep. I'll steal from myself my sleep so that I can have some me time at the end of the night. So we'll go to bed. My husband will fall asleep, and it's like my brain will just go wide awake. It's like, okay, this is a great time to read. Let's learn. What are we gonna do? And then in the morning, I'm even more tired. So it's not great. Um, I do have sleepy patches, which are supposed to help you sleep. I find they help me sleep too much. It is, there's no winning, guys. We're just all doing our best. And I think that's important. So as we're going through all this, um, again, heavy time, right? Everyone has these immense expectations for everyone around them. And as a realtor, so we're doing our best. But I recently realized something, and it sounds very silly to say I realized it because I can't control the economy. What? I know you guys are all listening because you thought I could control the economy. I can't control the economy. And I realized that somehow, because I love taking care of my clients, and so many of us are like this, we all put on our like superhero cape and we're like, we've got this. We're so, but at the end of the day, all you can do is your very best. You can't don't do less than your best, but you can do your best. But that's it. So if you do your best and something doesn't happen, that's not your fault, but we take it on. And it's almost like it's very hard to separate yourself from that. And so this is a very important time, self-care, but also care for each other. So if you are talking to another agent for any reason at all, be kind, be polite, be respectful. We're all just doing our best. And you know what? We're colleagues. We're all going to be working together at a table. Like you might have a client, I might have a client. We're going to connect. So just, I know everyone's tired. I get it. I know. But remember, there's a bigger picture at stake here. Okay, so now number 2, unload your schedule. Guys, this is the big one for me. So often, very often, I will stand back, usually when I'm kind of at a breaking point, and I will look at my schedule. And I'm overwhelmed and blown away by how much I fit into a day. And I've had coaches tell me, hey, like you do like 3 times as much as a regular person in a day. And I remember always feeling very good about that. I was like, I do what I can. Um, I don't know that it was a good thing, and I don't know that it is a good thing. So what I'm finding is that I'm really like, I've taken everything, and it's all because of this book that I'll tell you about in a second, but I've taken everything in my world and I've put it kind of on the chopping block. And I am asking, is it bringing me joy? Is it bringing me closer to my goals? Is it taking me away from my goals? Is it bringing me closer to my family? Is it taking me away from my family? All of these things. What am I doing? Because here's the thing, I don't want to get all morbid, but we don't know how long we're here. And I don't know, guys. I don't know that I would feel super pumped if I was looking back over my life from above and being like really excited that I got in like 3 more committees or whatever. Like, I want to give back. I want to make an impact, but you really have to dig into your values and say like, what am I doing? And just because you want to do something doesn't even mean you have to do it now. You can do it later or pick one. Like it's just, I feel oftentimes it's easy to give time, but it has to be right for you. And there's a time, there's a season, right? Like that's why all of these things, they have terms and 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you just have to do what works for you and and enjoy some time not working, right? So I will often say like I vacation so much because I'm a workaholic. Um, but I don't think it has to be like that. Like I also think that I can work really hard and continue to work hard, work smarter, not hard, like harder and smarter, not I don't know the term, but work less. Um, yeah, and I mean ultimately it's what do you feel good about? So I make a joke about my husband and I got married and we eloped. I mean, I feel like eloped means it was a secret, but everyone knew it was happening. They just weren't invited. So what we decided was that everyone that wakes up in our bed every morning got to be at the wedding. So me and him, that was it. Because we're the only people in this marriage. And not to say like everyone shouldn't have wonderful parties and celebrate with families. I think that's important. But the same thing goes for what you're doing with your schedule. Everyone who lives your life day to day, who wakes up as you, has your coffee, goes through the day, gets to decide what your ideal life looks like. That's it. Right? So, um I encourage you to take some time and go through and see like what are you doing because it's really, really, it feels right. And I don't mean in a selfish way. Like, I'm not like, oh, it has to serve you or it doesn't work. But what's making you feel like you're making a difference? Like, if you just whoop, took yourself out of something, if it wouldn't matter, um, is it ego making you stay? Because it really comes down to the life you want. And if we've learned anything in the last 5 years since COVID, it's like just there's a way to help each other and to exist and grow. You don't have to be in a room that doesn't appreciate you. You don't have to be in a room that's exhausting you. Um, and if you are, it's maybe time to revisit what that looks like. So unloading your schedule. And then the reason so I said I would talk about it, but the reason I got to this point. So 10x versus 2x, or 10x is easier than 2x, is a book that I'm reading. Big recommend. So what it says is like you need to laser focus on your goals. So if your goal, so let's say it's with real estate because I'm a realtor, but let's say your goal is that you really want to hit a certain level or sell, you really want to like excel in a certain niche or sell a certain number of homes or whatever it is. So that's the goal. So why are you adding anything into your schedule or into your life that isn't going to get you to that goal? And what it says is like, if your goal is just sell like one more house, yeah, you just work a little bit harder, but there's not excitement and passion in that. The 10x is like, let's say you're selling 20 homes, you want to sell 200 homes. That's going to take a very different mindset. That's going to take, okay, I need to be focused. I need to make sure I'm resting enough. I need to make sure I'm lead generating and calling. I need to connect with the right people. I need the right team around me. Like there's no dilly-dallying. Thanks, Mom, for that word that just popped into my head from my childhood. Um, but yeah, there's no like figuring it out. It's this is the goal. And so when you look at it that way, it's like design the life. Here's what I want. It kind of makes it really clear. And what he says is like what you're really going to end up doing is cutting 80% of what you're doing right now out and focusing on the 20% that is really going to get you to that next level. And it's scary. It is very scary. One of my colleagues and friends owns Merlot Moon Marketing. She actually put something up today, and I thought it was really impactful. And it was like, there's going to be days when it feels hard, and you're like, what am I doing this for? And a lot of people quit at that time, but that's where the magic happens. And it's the same thing with Acres of Diamonds. There's a book, and this man had a farm, a mine. I don't know the diamond trade, but it was like he bought it thinking, like, you know what, I'm going to be rich. It'll be so great. Um, and he gave up. Like he just went crazy trying to find it. He never found anything. He sold it for like peanuts. And the next person found it like a foot from where he gave up. And that is like a metaphor for life. So when you think it's hard, when you think it's tough, when you think it's like, what am I doing? As long as you're following your heart and you're listening to your intuition and you're doing all the right things, it might just be a matter of you just have to keep effing going. Um, and pay attention to what's working and what's not working, right? Like, I mean, ultimately, if you keep digging down in the same spot and there's nothing there, move over a little, right? So it was a foot away. So expand, change directions, change courses. Tony Robbins talks about the four step success formula, right? Get very, very clear on what you want. That's number one. Number two, take massive action towards what you want. That includes cutting that 80% out. Number 3, pay attention to the results you're getting. Like continually, like review, look, check. Buffini, it was really cool. I was at their summit and they were talking about the database, and you should be reviewing that database every 90 days, because they said, like, if you have someone, let's say they're an A plus, and for all my Buffini people, you know what I'm talking about, but an A plus is someone that's given you multiple referrals. An A is someone that's given you one referral. A B is someone that would refer you. A C, they're new, so they don't really know what's up. But he said, like, the A pluses are like first class, the A's are like business class, the B's are like economy, and the C's are on standby. So when you're reviewing that database, you want to make sure that you're treating everyone, and you always want to be moving them up. You want the B's to become A's and the A's to become A pluses. But if you're consistently treating an A plus like a standby passenger, or treating a standby passenger like an A plus, it doesn't work. Not that you wouldn't want to treat everyone. Everyone should be treated like a first class passenger. Yes, but when we're talking about how that person's treated, we're talking about budget, time, all things that we don't have. It's not infinite. So you really want to make sure that if you are going to be laser focused, you're focused on the group, that you want to make sure you're appreciating people. And for those people, you're not ignoring them. You're just you're just kind of showing them, like, how can they get into this like VIP zone in your database. But you need to review that, because if someone was an A plus like 7 years ago and you haven't really talked to them or heard back from them in 7 years, should they stay? And that's up to you. That's a you decision. But that 80% is scary, right? So in making decisions, I've kind of looked, and as I'm feeling uncomfortable because I don't know, like, you don't know if it's the right decision, but I think you also do know. And yeah. Okay. So just to recap, guys. So this is a time, it can be very, and I will say, like, I was not in a good zone last week, and I really, really had to dig deep. But I do find that when you're in a low spot, whatever your belief system is, I have a lot of faith. So I was praying about it. But whatever your belief system is, things like this too shall pass is for good and bad. We've talked about that before. So if it's bad, it's going to be okay. It's just, you have to hunker down, and that's when you learn, right? So when you, I think, again, sorry, Tony, we're going to bring you back in. Tony Robbins, when you have success, you party. When you have failure, you ponder. So, and it doesn't have to be big failure. Maybe the failure is just that you feel bleh and you want to feel good. So that's the thing. You're going to find things. Like, I'm actually doing, the reason you're getting so many quotes is that I'm doing the Tony Robbins Personal Power 2 again. Thanks, Dad. My dad and I are big fans of Tony and the Personal Power 2 program. I recommend it. To recap, so there are so many things you can do to feel better. Again, if you're just feeling like you've tried everything and it's just not happening, talk to a professional. There are lots of people here to help, and it's very important because you matter. If it is not a regular thing for you, try these things first. See what happens. Let the sunshine in. Get moving. Let the 5 senses really fall in. And the other thing too, it didn't mention, or I didn't mention it, connection. So what I'd say, like, we're in real estate. It can be a really lonely time though. And we're in the era of planning something like 6 months out, and then trying to match up the calendars, and then people are canceling, like a canceling epidemic. I feel like it was I want to say John Mulaney, like, who talks about, he actually said, like, do you know how good it feels to cancel plans? You're like, like, I wish I could come, but I'm not coming. And how often that happens. But we also have people that have taught us that that connection we feel with people, that heart to heart connection, you have to be within 6 feet of a person to feel that. And if you're kind of isolated or always working on your computer or like working from home, especially with all these virtual offices, you might not get that connection. And that's something we need as people. Um, and even if like it's uncomfortable, making new friends. Like I'm in my, oh my goodness, seventh city. And I'm very grateful that I have a lot of acquaintances. I have friends. Um, but I do find most of my friends are entrepreneurs because they're the only ones that understand my crazy work schedule. Um, but I also think I can do something about that. I can put some effort into not having a crazy work schedule. Um, but then also get your sleep. The days are getting longer at last. Unload your schedule. Do like an audit. Write down everything you do. And I mean everything. Are there committees, volunteers? Are you logging into a meeting? Are you signing up for like, I don't know, I'm spammed by so like I love learning. I'm a geek. I think everyone knows that. But like Udemy and oh my goodness, all of the education ones. I'm kind of on a hiatus from education right now. I just finished my Rico update. Whoop whoop. And I got my MBA last year. I have my professional director certification. Like I'm full up on education for like a small bit. Um, ish. I have some other things I have to do. But then just look at the schedule. It's okay to do, you can, if it's serving your path, if you're happy, do it. But if you're not, just take a little look inside. Is it, is it the right thing? And then 10x is easier than 2x. I really recommend that you read this book. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. It's Krystal Lee Moore Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And if you're not having a wonderful day, I hope that these tips and tricks helped give you a little bit of inspiration. As Zig Ziglar says, motivation is like bathing. It does not last, so it must be done daily. Um, we're going to get there. We're going to get through whatever. And at the end of this crazy ride of realtor life, um, the stories are just really fun to go back on. And it's the connection and helping each other. So thank you for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys soon.